All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our board meeting for March the 1st. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Do a quick roll call here. Director Koo.
Good evening.
All right, Director Jeffries.
Hello, I'm here.
Director Stauffer.
Yes, good evening.
Director Pickens.
Hello, good evening, sir.
And Superintendent Pryne.
Hi, I'm here.
All right. Okay, well, let's move on to our join me on the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so tonight still in a virtual meeting, following typical virtual meeting protocol. Public comments will be in written form, and if you're in attendance, please make sure you are muted and mic and video off. And this meeting is being recorded at this time. Director Stauffer, can you read our vision and mission statement for us today?
Sure, thank you. Vision. Our community inspires and prepares each student to thrive. Our mission. In connection with our community, the Sequim School District empowers staff to inspire hope and provide flexible, innovative learning opportunities in a safe and respectful environment so each student thrives. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Koo, could you read our acknowledgement of the land we stand on today?
You bet, I'm happy to. All right, the Sequim School District administrative and school buildings sit on the ancestral land of the Nuu-Sklallam people. While the Sklallam traditionally come from one nation, history has led to the formation of three sovereign Sklallam tribal governments. The Lower Elwha Sklallam tribe, located in Port Angeles, the Jamestown Sklallam tribe, located in Sequim, and the Port Gamble Sklallam tribe, located in Kingston. The district's primary partnership is with the Jamestown Sklallam tribe. Today, the tribe and districts share a partnership that includes official consultation on program and funding changes that may directly affect American Indian and Alaska Native students, as well as holistic service planning for students to remain successful in their educational journeys.
All right, thank you. All right, first up, we have special presentation. Dr. Pryne, I'll turn it over to you for Educational Support Professional Week.
Okay. Well, actually, the Paraprofessional Educational Week is Education Support Professionals Week, is next week, but because our board meeting is tonight, we are celebrating tonight. But there's more to come in individual sites and at the district office. So here's the proclamation. Whereas education support professionals are involved in nearly every aspect of education, maintaining buildings and grounds, preparing and serving meals, keeping school facilities clean and orderly, assisting in the classroom, providing 60% of all instructional hours to special education, English language learners, and opportunity gap students, performing and conducting research activities, providing information technology and media services, administrative support functions, and safe transportation, creating a secure and healthy environment, and many other specialized services. And whereas these dedicated individuals who are the backbone of our public education system deserve recognition and thanks for the outstanding work they do for the state, their communities, and the students enrolled in Washington's public schools, colleges, and universities. And whereas there are over 62,000 education support professionals working with and helping students in Washington's universities, colleges, and public schools. And whereas education support professionals are instrumental in fulfilling the state's responsibility to educate all students. And whereas by supporting the learning environment, education support professionals are crucial partners with teachers, parents, administrators, and school boards. Now, therefore, I, Jay Inslee, Governor of the State of Washington, do hereby proclaim March 8th through the 12th, 2021 as Education Support Professionals Week in Washington, and I urge all people in our state to join me in this special observance. And it was signed on the 24th day of February 2021 by Governor Inslee. And I would just like to personally say thank you to all of our support professionals across our system. They do amazing work, and we could not educate our students without them. So thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Absolutely, Dr. Pryne. They are such a vital part of our program and our district, and very much deserve the accolades for all the work that they do. And from the board, I want to thank them all as well. All right. Do we have any changes or additions to our agenda? Oh, there we go. Let's back up a little bit. How about we do approval of our minutes first?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Tracy, for keeping me in order there. Have a motion to second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Now we can go to any changes or additions to our agenda, and hearing none, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Mr. President, hearing no
I move we
changes,
approve the
would
agenda.
move to approve as presented.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Next up is our consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve.
I second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Director Koo.
Hey, it worked. Just like to say thank you to the two generous donations, including, I believe it was a Buick Skylark or something close to that. So forgive me if I'm butchering the make and model, but that was very generous for our automotive program, and appreciate the individuals involved with that and the cash donation.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a Buick Skylark back in the day.
It's great cars.
Yeah. All right. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign? All right, thank you. Okay, next up, we have public comments. At this time, we don't have any public comments coming in, but a reminder, if you do, this time send them into either tnorman@squimschools.org or schoolboard@squimschools.org prior to the meeting time frame. All right, next up we have our student board representatives. I believe Olivia is working this evening, so Alyssa Beeby, our junior representative, is carrying the load for us, and I'm sure she'll do wonderful. Thank Alyssa. I don't see Alyssa on.
Hi, President Gibson. This is Tracy. I do not either, and I did not get a note from her that she wouldn't be here.
Ah. Well, hopefully she's okay. Not in response today. Maybe first day back at school and put a little chink in the day. Well, we always look forward to the updates from our reps, but since they're both not with us this evening, we'll move on to regular board communication. And lead off with Director Koo.
All right, thank you, sir. I think Alyssa probably has that first day back to school jitters, but I don't know that. I hope she's all right. And I do want to note and say welcome back to our high school students. And while I'm heartbroken, we're sitting here March 1st of 2021, and this is the first time many of our students have set foot in the high school this year. I also recognize the profundity of the day and appreciate the staff, some of which are on this call tonight, and everything y'all have done to not only get our students this far, but get a handful of them back in the buildings today. It was great to see pictures posted on social media of students headed back, and it just felt like what we're all trying to do is seek normalcy and the chaos that is this COVID crisis. So from all levels of the staff in the district, thank you so much for making this happen and trying to restore some normalcy to this school year. I did want to touch on our board meetings moving forward, and this is just mirroring some unsolicited opinions I shared with our chair. We may have an opportunity to do in-person board meetings at some point moving forward, and I do look forward to those. I will have to recognize, though, that the technological capabilities and reach afforded us with our virtual meetings is no small thing. And if I had to pick one over the other, assuming they were mutually exclusive as they were before the COVID crisis, I would certainly opt for the ability for audience members to participate electronically as they have been. I would like to see the restoration of public comments, live at the board meetings. I think that's an effective platform with, when used respectfully, can really inform the board and our decisions. But my final point in my comments tonight is just a gratitude to those who have reached out to the board with their comments and, frankly, critical feedback. It's tough to hear, it's tough to read at times, but it's very much appreciated, and especially from the standpoint of sharpening our collective saws. And I hope folks know, and I'm not speaking on behalf of the board, but I feel pretty confident my gentleman colleagues would feel or say the same, is that is much appreciated. If there's perspectives that we may not see or criticisms that we may be hesitant to hear, we do appreciate getting those and working towards a better outcome for our students. So thank you to those who take the time to do that, and we appreciate the kind comments too when those come, as rarely as they do, but we do appreciate those as well. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Director Jeffries.
Yeah, thank you. I'll kind of tag on to what Brian said about the public comments. I did send communication to the board president and the superintendent about some things we need to look at and some background on community input to make sure we're doing it, giving it all justice and doing it right while giving the public opportunity to speak. So I encourage you to think about that. I found some of those articles on the policy and legal news. I noticed the February policy and legal news that comes out of WASDA talks quite a bit about curriculum and the board's involvement in curriculum, and there's some precautions in there the board members ought to take a look at. And it also talked about social emotional climate, which is at the forefront, almost as big a concern or as big a concern these days as COVID concerns. So we need to take a close look at that. And then emergencies, school emergencies, as we get back into school and we get students in school. Unfortunately, those emergencies may arise, and we need to be sure we're ready for that. We do have a policy workshop on March 10th on some policies. I don't think the current policy and legal news actually covers any of those policies, so, but it's still worth a read through. Yeah, I was really excited to drive by the high school today and see the parking lot full and the kids walking around campus with their masks on, and it was very exciting to finally get them back into the classroom at the high school. It's been almost a year since we shut down. I think we shut down 17th last year, so it was really good and exciting to see everybody back. I think that's due in large part to the community keeping our numbers low, and to parents and students, and especially to the hard work of the staff to make sure our schools are safe for kids to return. So that's, I would just admonish everybody, don't relax. I know more of us are getting vaccinated, but that's still, we can't let down our guard on protecting us from COVID, even though we're getting more vaccinations. I really am looking forward to working with Hank Harris and his firm on our superintendent search. I think I and probably everybody had meetings this week with him to start talking about that process and what we're looking for, and I found that very helpful. And paraprofessionals week, I know when I was a teacher, our paraprofessionals were part of the team, and they were an essential part of the team, especially at the middle school level. They were very actively involved in teaching and learning with the kids and with the teachers, and really appreciated their help when I was a teacher. Almost essential for us to be able to get our jobs done. So I really want to thank them for all their efforts. And looking forward to signing or approving that contract tonight and working with Dr. Pryne till the end of June 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Jeffries. Director Stoffer.
Yes, thank you. Good evening. First, appreciation for our education support staff, and well deserved, and just really appreciate their work. And then our high school staff at bringing our high school students back today. I know that was a pretty tough hurdle, and thank you for that. Legislative updates, colleagues, please see the in-service weekly update that should have got that on Sunday. Just a few calendar reminders. On the 11th of March, there is a regional meeting between us, Director Area 4, 5, and 6, to discuss the Week on the Hill conversations with our legislators, and should have got a registration link for that, and it's on the 11th of March, 6:30 to 7:30. And then there's some caucus meetings coming up. The one on the 8th of March, that is in the evening, 4:30 to 5:30, and that's Equity and Access Caucus. And then if you want to attend the large school caucus, that's on the 9th of March. And then for students, there's the 10th of March, 4:30 to 5:30. And registration links are on that email I sent out. And then also there's the application window has opened for what's called the Youth Legislative Council, and encourage not only our school board reps, but any other students out there that take this opportunity. And thank you. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Director Stoffer. Director Pickens.
Thank you. Yeah, as my colleagues have already said, happy that the high school is back in session. My daughter was extremely excited to be back, so that was happy to see that bright smile, and I'm sure there were a lot more smiles that were out there today, just hidden behind those masks, of course. I couldn't agree more with with recognizing the, as my other colleagues have did, recognizing the work of our education support professionals. Truly, we couldn't do the job that we're doing without their support, all aspects of the support they provide. So a sincere, very sincere thank you to all of our education support professionals. I really mean that. I was able to attend the legislative conference Sunday before last through WASA and WASDA, and Wasbo, I think I got all those ones right, was extremely informative. I was glad to participate, and the Superintendent Rekdal was on there, and he did talk a little bit about standardized testing and potentially some good news on the horizon. Hopefully, I don't want to jinx it, but he was thinking that there might be some alternatives to what's really out there. So I'm very cautiously optimistic, cautiously hopeful that we can find some sort of alternative to what normally happens. I know typically the general public might not realize what a big toll it takes on a building when they go through their testing process, but I've seen it at least in the elementary school, and it really like shuts down operations to an extent for at least a couple of weeks, just to, or more sometimes, just to get through all of this testing. And that's really the last thing that our schools need. So I'm really hopeful that we're able to find some sort of alternative. It sounded like Superintendent Rekdal was recommending some sort of sampling that would be an alternative, which I think would be great. So hopefully we get more news on that soon. I also like to say it'd be the sooner that we can get back into in-person meetings, from my perspective, I think would be preferred by myself. I would also say that if we can have options for folks to attend remotely, that seems like the best solution currently. So both for the public as well as board members if they see fit. So last Friday had my meeting with Hank regarding superintendent search, so was appreciative of the time he spent with me. And last, I just been hearing a lot about the new funding that's going to come down, the ESSER 2 funding, and hearing from a lot of districts that they're even looking past this year onto next year and maybe even the year after that about best ways to use that. And although that's certainly in the purview of our superintendent to make those types of operational decisions, it sounds like a lot of folks are looking towards maybe lower class sizes in the next couple years potentially, and which obviously makes things a little safer for having less students in a classroom, but maybe could make sure that we're able to in the fall have students back 5 days a week, which I think would be extremely important. Also, I think lower class sizes essentially will help educators meet those social emotional needs and academic needs wherever those students are at. So I'm hoping that's something that we can take a look at. But again, just certainly the decision to be made at the superintendent level. So hopefully hear more information about that in the next coming meetings. So other than that, I believe that's all. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, Director Pickens. Yeah, just I think everybody's covered most of the topics there. One thing I'd like to add on, though, is it's been a pleasure to have the opportunity to watch several of our athletes through the live stream media that's been available out there. And if you haven't had the opportunity to take part in that, I encourage you. The other night I had the volleyball on my laptop and the soccer on my TV at the same time, so I was able to attend both functions at once, and that was a lot of fun. Just fun watching our athletes compete again and do what they like to do. So other than that, I think everybody else touched on all the other topics. So that's all I have for this evening. All right, no reports, so it is no special reports today. So Superintendent Pryne, I will turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Well, first of all, we were at the high school bright and early this morning, and I have to tell you, the buses were unloading and students were already there, and it was really quiet. I don't know what I thought it would be like, but I thought it would be a little rambunctious, but kids were, I think they were, as one adult put it, I almost don't know how to talk to the kids because I haven't seen them for a year. So it might have taken them a little while to get used to seeing other people, but it was really fun to be on campus and and talk to teachers and talk to staff and see the students. And I met some leadership students today who were looking for new students and freshmen or other students that didn't know quite where to go. And so they were there to help, and they decorated the sidewalks with chalk. And so, you know, it was a festive atmosphere. It was fun to be at the high school today. I also wanted to just talk about some of the places that I've been. I went to the SQUIM Educational Foundation meeting last week, and they were talking about possibly doing a grant for some laptops for the school. So that's pretty exciting. I think most of us attended the legislative conference on last Sunday. It was virtual. Our CEE survey went live on February 22nd. And so we will be administering it to students, staff, students in grades 5 through 12, staff, and parents. So if you haven't filled out your survey, please do so, because it will inform our work for next year. Let's see, I also attended the annual chamber meeting last week. We had our Wellness Wednesday, which was meditation and mindfulness on February 24th. And on March 10th, we have work and life balance. We have started our district safety committee back up, and we had another meeting last Thursday. So that's a good opportunity to see where we need to possibly, you know, literally mend some fences, or if there are tree roots that need to be pulled up, or, you know, things like that. So that's good for that. The capital projects, we are in the planning stages. Steve McIntyre, who I believe was the project manager on the last one, will be in the district tomorrow to do some consulting. And so I will be talking with him about what steps we need to take, because he was involved in the last one. And I'll be bringing a report to the board at the end of the week. And on Friday is our professional learning day. So there will be no students in attendance on Friday, but our teachers and our staff will be attending the professional learning day. And it will tie in with our January day. There'll be a couple of different topics, but it will also be tied in with our universal design of learning. So that will be on Friday. And as far as the public meetings, I talked to Port Angeles because I know that they're having their first in-person meeting on March 11th. So I called them and I asked them, and it took me a minute to get my head wrapped around this, but I understand it. It's a Zoom meeting in person. So they are doing it electronically, but they're meeting in person, so that so they will be live streaming it, so people that are unable to attend can still stream it like we're doing right now. But it will be an in-person meeting. So then I asked them where they were holding it, and they said in their auditorium. And our auditorium holds approximately 600 people. And so you can have either 200 people or 25% of the capacity, whichever is less. So anyways, so we have we need to talk about that if we want to have our March 15th meeting, our team's meeting in person. I know that when I talked to them last week, not all of their board members were comfortable being in person. And so they will have most of their board there, but not all of their board, but it will be a virtual meeting in person. So other than that, you know, we're just, life is zooming along with school and kids back in the buildings, and it's pretty exciting. So thank you.
One question I would have, Dr. Pryne, on that, just from a technology standpoint, if we were doing kind of a similar situation, whether that was if we were looking at our auditorium, say, as our place to hold the meeting, or would we be set up for technology to be able to have audio out to the audience that are out and that are there, and then the ability to also do Zoom or web or Teams?
Right. And we would have to, yes, it's doable. One of the things we have to be careful of is because everybody would be in the same room with their computer, and so you don't want feedback. So we'd have to figure out how we don't have the feedback. So we definitely would need our technology, somebody from our technology department there to mute mics and unmute mics and things like that. But it's definitely doable. So, and then they are setting up a podium so that if somebody wanted to come and talk on a topic that's on the agenda or wanted to come and do a 3-minute non-topic talk when there's time for that, then they're able to do that, but they're also projecting it so that whoever's at home can see who it is that's speaking. So, but definitely doable.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Let's see, next up we have the approval of the contract for Dr. Pryne, Director Koo.
Yeah, I'd like to move to approve the contract as presented.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'd be happy to second that.
All right, thank you. Do we have any discussion? And Director Koo's hand still up?
Just like to say that somebody who has spent way too much time in contracts for not being an HR professional, believe this was very well done. I don't know how much specific fine tuning was done to this document from a previous iteration, but there's a couple key points that frankly had been unpleasant surprises during a transition previously. That I think this document adequately addresses and makes clear for all. So, Dr. Pryne, that is not at all a reflection on you. It's just having been subjected to legal interpretations in the past and not excited to be doing so. Really commend the work that went into this document and clarifying the key points. And I stand ready to approve the motion and the document as presented.
Thank you, Director Koo. Any further comment? Director Stauffer?
Yes, I'm fully supportive of this contract with Dr. Pryne till the year 2022, and like to thank her for her work that has been accomplished since October, being with us, and fully support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Pickens?
Yeah, it's already been said by my colleagues. Just wanted to reiterate thank you to Dr. Pryne, and I'm prepared to vote in favor of this, and want to thank her for stepping in through some difficult times to navigate for the district, both because of pandemic reasons and among various other reasons. Not certainly not I don't know that there's ever an ideal time to transition in mid-year, but this is certainly, there's a lot going on. So thank you again, Dr. Pryne.
Absolutely. Thank you, Director Pickens. Well said. Okay. Hearing no further comment, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And as my colleagues have said, Dr. Pryne, thank you, and look forward to continue to work with you through this year and into the next school year. It definitely helps solidify our kind of leadership role at this point moving forward as we try work on transition out of the COVID, into reopening, into a new school year, and into our two new levies. So appreciative of you joining us for another year.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, and I'm happy to be here.
All right. Next up, we have second readings of 11.02 through 11.21. And if we don't have any direct discussions on any particular ones, we could have a go ahead, Director Stauffer.
Yes, make a motion that we approve all policies as presented. Trying to find the right number here, but so from item number 11.02 through 11.21.
Mr. Chair, second.
Okay. We got a motion, a second. Director Jeffries.
No, I was just gonna second, had my hand up to second.
Oh. Okay. Any discussion? All right, well, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign? All right. And did we do something wrong tonight? It is 11:30 or 6:35 and I think we're done.
The bar has been set, sir.
The bar has been set, yes.
The standard has been set. Let me be clear.
There we go. Standard. Well, yes, if nobody has anything for the good of the order, thank you all for joining us this evening. Director Jeffries, got a hand.
Yeah, I was just gonna say two things. I used the term paraprofessionals before. That's a holdover from my my previous life as a classroom teacher. That's what we called the educational support professionals, but the same high regard for them still stands. Also, we have a couple, I know I saw on Facebook post from the high school, we've got a couple of student teachers, one in math and one in social studies at the high school. So I want to welcome them. Do we have any, Jane, do we have any other student teachers in the system right now?
I believe we do, and I want to say they are at the elementary level.
Well, I welcome them also. I just maybe didn't catch those announcements. So yeah, those student teachers are very important, and I welcome them, and it's going to be an exciting year for them and the kids. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I believe the social studies student teacher is in teaching in my daughter's class. So exciting. Director Pickens.
Yeah, thank you. Just sort of channeling my inner Director Jeffries here, but during my board comments, I used an acronym that I'm sure folks aren't familiar with. I said ESSER funds, so just wanted to make sure that stands for Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund. So wanted to make sure to point that out because whenever I'm using those terms, it's not always well known. So.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Pickens. It's like listening to Director Koo use the thesaurus some evenings. All right. Well, thank you all for a good evening and for a good meeting. Nice, short, and sweet and to the point. And thank you, Dr. Pryne, and welcome aboard again for another school year. And with that, I call this meeting to order, and let's all have an early dinner tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
sir.
for everybody who showed up.
Good night.